Quick sound check. Councillors online, can you hear us?
Yes. Coffman?
Thank you.
Yes, Parker.
Joe
is now exiting.
Joe
is now joining.
sure Councillor Mishiro joined us at the last meeting, so.
Councillor Campbell.
Here.
Councillor Carlson.
Present.
Councillor Coffman.
Present.
Councillor Crowson.
Here.
Councillor Morrow.
Yep.
Councillor Parker.
Yeah.
Acting Mayor Hagan.
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Miyashiro. Mayor Spearman.
Here. Okay. So this is the organizational meeting, so we'll just deal with the resolutions one at a time. First resolution is from Acting Mayor Higgin, that the agenda of the November the 2nd organizational meeting of City Council be adopted, including all communications as submitted by the City Clerk. Acting Mayor Higgin.
Is there any changes, City Clerk?
No, Mayor Spearman, there's no changes or additions to the agenda.
Okay, no changes.
Thank you. I'll call for the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Are any opposed? There are none. Next, I have a resolution from Councillor Parker. Administrative appointments to boards, commissions, and committees, 2021. Be it resolved that City Council appoint the following members of administration effective January the 1st, 2021 for a one-year term to the following. 1. Council's boards, commissions, and committees. Travis Grindle to the Combative Sports Commission. And 2. External Committee. Doug Hawkins or designate to the Old Man Watershed Council. And Doug Hawkins or designate to the Regional Trail Steering Committee. Councillor Parker.
I have nothing to add, Mr. Mayor, and I would just ask for council support.
Okay. Any discussion? I see none. Okay, question's been called. All in favor? Are any opposed? There are none. Next, I have a resolution from Councillor Crowson, Standing Policy Committee's governance model. That Council consider the following recommendations of the Open and Effective Government Committee. 1. Adopt the Standing Policy SPC structure as provided in Attachment 1 with an effective date of January the 1st, 2021. 2. Adopt the mandates as provided in Attachment 2 and direct administration to bring respective procedure bylaw amendments to Council for the first reading at the November 30th, 2020 meeting of Council to be effective January the 1st, 2021. 3. Amend the terms of reference or bylaws for the boards, commissions, and committees, BCCs, to be effective January the 1st, 2021 to allow for A. Reporting of those BCCs to the respective SPC as indicated in Attachment 1, and B. Amendment of Council appointments on BCCs as indicated in yellow in Attachment 3. 4. Dissolve the following committees effective December 31st, 2020. The City Manager Search Committee, Open and Effective Government Committee, Finance Committee, and Community Issues Committee. 5. Provide citizen and/or administrative appointments to Council on or before December 14th, 2020 to replace deleted members of Council positions as indicated in the notes column of Attachment 3. And 6. Adopt the 2021 Council and Committee meeting calendar as provided in Attachment 4. Councillor Crowson.
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. And yes, there are several parts to this. This is following through on the recommendations of the governance review that were brought forward approximately a year ago. They were sent to OEG for OEG to look at and bring back recommendations to Council, and this is what we're bringing forward. I'd like to thank Ms. Hilford and the entire City Clerk's Department for the assistance and other members of administration. And as noted, if this is approved and accepted by Council, it would be in place January 1st. Now, SPCs are both looking back because approximately 20 years ago, a council used to have these standing policy committees, and it's also looking forward. This has the opportunity to have a mandate for much more public engagement. There will be roles for the public to engage with most of these standing policy committees, and it'll allow council to become much more strategic because they'll be able to work on issues at the committee level, and then council can focus on those higher issues. And so this also will give the public more chance to understand what is happening, because the issues will become public at the SPC level and then maybe referred to council. It'll slow down decision-making and allow members of council and the community to have more soak time with issues. So at this moment, after I've introduced it, I will open up for questions, either to myself or Ms. Hilford, if any members of council have questions.
Joe, I do, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Councillor Morrow.
Number 4, dissolve the following committees. Why are we, I can see the first one, but why are we dissolving the last 3? I thought Open and Effective Government was a very busy committee and did a lot of work. And Finance Committee, unless I don't understand, Finance Committee is the council as a whole sitting as Finance Committee, and the CIC. Why are you suggesting to dissolve these committees?
All of the roles of those committees will be adopted under the mandate of the new SPCs. So Open and Effective Government will in many ways become the Governance Standing Policy Committee. And so everyone here, Community Issues has actually been doing everything that the SPCs would be doing. So you could think of community issues instead of, I mean, it's going to be disbanded, but in a sense, there's 4 community issues now instead of just 1. So all of the roles that those 3 committees have will be under other ones to give broader context.
Thank you.
I have a question. This is effective January the 1st. So what do we do with council appointments that we might make today for the next 2 months?
I believe the Agenda Review Committee, who sat as Nominations Committee, thought about both of these. So anybody who is in place now will be extended till January 1st, and then the new committees would come in place on January 1st if this is approved.
Okay, thank you. So councillors would stay on existing committees until January the 1st under present appointments, and then anything we pass today would be effective January the 1st. Councillor Carlson?
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Thank you, Councillor Carlson, for bringing this forward on behalf of OEG. Quick question, and sorry, I'm flipping back and forth between devices here. Item 3B talks about accepting the council appointments to BCCs as indicated in yellow on attachment 3. I'd like to propose some changes to attachment 3, if I may.
Councillor Carlson, I was just going to recommend some amendments, and as you indicated in yellow, there's 3 to be done. The Police Commission would have 2 members of council on it, so we would make that amendment. EDL would have the mayor and the deputy mayor, and Green Acres would remain with the 3 members of council. So we would need that amendment to be made.
I would make that amendment.
Great, thank you.
Okay, do you have a seconder for that amendment?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councillor Carlson. Do you want to discuss? We'll discuss the amendment at this point. So I think it's fairly, it's everything we've discussed in the closed meeting. So are there any further questions in the open meeting with the recommendations? This amendment's coming forward as a result of discussion in the closed meeting.
And thank you, Mayor Spearman. I just think, given the current state of council's relationship with all our committees, I think making these changes back to what they were just makes good sense. So I'd hope to have my colleagues' support on that.
Okay. Any questions? Any debate?
I think Councillor Higgin has raised his hand, Your Worship.
Okay, Councillor Higgin.
Is it possible to show that attachment 3, or is that still in the works before it could be actually shown on the screen for to view?
I believe Councillor Higgin would like to see the amended attachment, if that's possible.
We are trying to get that up on the screen right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry to put you all through this. It's just that I thought if it's up there, it's for public to be able to see. I know what we had discussed, but my apologies to have to put you through this. Ryan, typing away if it's yourself.
City Clerk's just getting it up on the screen now, I believe.
So I hope everybody online can see it. I think it's up now.
And thank you. Any other questions on council on my amendment?
Everybody can see it? Any questions? I hear none.
If there's nothing further, I'll call for the vote.
Question's been called by the mover. Any debate? I hear none. All in favor? Are any opposed? Okay, is that unanimous? I believe that's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Councillor Carlson? That was the amendment. You are on mute.
Sorry. Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Appreciate everyone's patience there. Question to the mover or city manager or city clerk or designate. These are quite substantive changes, creating some fairly large standing special purpose committees in fairly short order. Are there any challenges implementing this plan as proposed by OEG?
I'll leave that to the city manager or city clerk to answer.
Thank you
Agreed.
for,
For council, it's showing up, but
thank you for the question. So I think the one issue that will take a bit of attention is adjusting to the new timelines and just making sure that because we have work in the hopper, if you will, that we're aligned with those new timelines. So that will take a bit of attention and focus. But I think in general, the Standing Policy Committee model, I believe, will make it easier for us to get what are sometimes complicated issues in front of members of council prior to bringing them to council as a whole, which will hopefully provide us with some additional feedback for changes or additional work, and ultimately bring a better product to council. So I personally think that this will enable us to up our game a bit, both administration and council. The one concern I would offer, and that's just based on the experience of the Economic and Community Recovery Committee work to date and the associated working groups, is being mindful of the additional tasks that get generated or might get generated out of this structure, and making sure that we have good procedures in place to discipline us all, so that we're focusing on council's priorities, and we're not, we don't wind up chasing a number of other issues that would take us away from that work. But apart from that, I look forward to us being able to support council under this new structure.
thank you, City Manager. I appreciate that response. As a member of OEG, we've studied this for many months, and so I concur that I believe it is a good direction to go. I just wanted to ensure we weren't putting any extra challenges, especially during this extra challenging time, in front of our administration. So I appreciate that response. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Spearman.
Thank you. So we passed the amendment. We're now back to the main resolution. Any questions on the main resolution? Any debate? I'll ask Councillor Carlson to close.
One of the things we learned through the governance review is that committees and committee structures need to evolve, and they need to be constantly thought about in new ways to reflect our changing council, our changing community, our changing governance requirements. And so one of the things that we know from the governance review is that moving to standing policy committees will help us be more strategic and more governance focused at both the committee and council level. And it'll make sure that council is no longer sitting on operational committees, so we're not in the weeds and working on things we should not be. One of the things we want to make sure is that even though there will only be 4 members of council on each committee, we want to make sure that every member of council knows that they are welcome to attend any of the meetings that they want to as non-committee members, and so they can come and be part of any of those discussions if they choose to. And of course, all things will be, or many of the things will be referred on to council, so there'll be time for council to discuss things as well. And I'm looking forward to this. If this is approved by council, it'll give us a new way of doing governance. We also have to be mindful as we move ahead of making sure the public is informed on this so they know of the opportunities to speak or to submit writing into these councils. So there would certainly be a public education component if this is confirmed by council. But I think this is a wonderful opportunity both for the public and for council to move our governance model in a new and better way. So I hope my colleagues will support this. And that's my opening.
Thank you. City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. I just wanted to make sure that with regards to recommendation 6, as per the MGA, all members of council have to be present to adopt a council calendar, and that Council Miyashiro is on the line. Council Miyashiro, are you there?
I am.
Great, thank you. And just one more thing about the calendar, with regards to the FCM conference, they haven't decided their dates, so there will be an amendment to the calendar brought forth when we have that date for sure, and that would be in June. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Carlson has closed. All in favor? Any opposed? Is that unanimous? Okay, we're moving to the new model effective January the 1st. Next resolution. I have a resolution from Councillor Carlson, Police Commission bylaw, Lethbridge Municipal Police Commission bylaw review. Whereas under the Alberta Police Act, a council has a police commission shall prescribe the rules governing the operations of the commission and appoint the members of the commission. And whereas it is the role of City Council to ensure good governance by the Police Commission, therefore be it resolved that City Council directs the City Manager to bring back to Council recommended changes to Bylaw 5969, Municipal Police Commission Bylaw, by the end of January 2021. Councillor Carlson.
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Whenever we're looking at anything that involves the police or the police commission, we always have to be careful of finding that appropriate balance. Of course, we know that the Lethbridge Police Service must carry out its duties free from any political interference. Nothing we do or say or have in the bylaw can in any way have any oversight over the police. That is the role of the commission. The gray area, of course, comes into the police commission itself. So they must have the ability to oversee the police. But there's also that governance area that is our responsibility. And as I outlined in the police commission, it is the role of council to prescribe the rules governing the operations of the commission and appoint the members of the commission. And at present, I have some concerns with our present police commission bylaw, and I am looking to my colleagues to support me in asking our city solicitor to review that bylaw, look at the police commission bylaws of other communities, and bring us back an amended bylaw to be debated in January. And some of the concerns I have is the expectations, some of the expectations we know haven't been met. The annual plan that the commission is required to bring, we haven't seen, and we know that that is a requirement under the Police Act, but some of the other police commission bylaws are much more prescribed in how that annual plan will be done. We also know under the Police Act that it is our responsibility to remove a commission member for cause, but we have nothing in our bylaw about what cause might be. And when we look to something like the Tabor Commission bylaw, they're much more specific, that even such as engaging in behaviors or practices that in the opinion of the council are in conflict with the stated vision, mission, or stated values of the commission is a cause for having somebody removed from the commission. And so I would like to have our city solicitor look at the other bylaws across the province and bring us some of the best standards that are out there. And then I'm also concerned about some of the policies and who might review some of the policies, et cetera. So these are some of the things that have brought me forward on this, but I have left this broad to ask the city solicitor to look at all the other police commission bylaws, knowing of course that he will look at the Police Act as well, and just bring us back a new revised police commission bylaw that we as council can review and approve if that is the will of council. And so that's why I brought forward this resolution today.
Thank you. Questions? Councillor Coffman?
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Thank you, Councillor Carlson, for the motion. It identifies the city manager as being responsible for stewarding this. So I'll just ask the city manager to be cognizant of the fact that a document was sent to the clerk's office from the commission regarding some possible changes to the bylaw as well. So if that document can be shared with yourself or with whomever is doing the review, just additional food for consideration in the bylaw, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions? Okay, we'll move on to debate. I'll take that as your opening. Any debate? I hear none. Councillor Carlson, you can close or call the question.
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed?
I am. Joe.
Okay, thank you, Joe. So I think that is approved 7-1. I don't believe Councillor Miyashiro has joined us yet. Okay.
Oh, he was here.
He is on the line? Okay. Okay, 8-1.
Chris, my hand was up in opposition as well.
Okay, 7-2. Okay, thank you. Okay, what happened to 5.1.1. That is bylaw to establish a code of conduct. Okay. Okay, I now have a resolution from Acting Mayor Higgin. Bylaw 6203, a bylaw to establish a code of conduct for citizen members appointed to boards, commissions, and committees. For second reading, be it resolved that bylaw 6203, a bylaw to establish a code of conduct for citizen members appointed to boards, commissions, and committees, be read a second time. Councillor Higgin?
If there's no questions, I'll call for the vote.
Are there any questions? Councillor Carlson?
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. Appreciate that. Through you to either the mover or city manager or designate, we did get some feedback from some of our BCCs about things they'd like either clarity on or added, changed in the bylaw. Have they been communicated with for their clarity? So that some of the questions were just they wanted clarity on things. Others were requests to be added or changed in the bylaw. Has there been any discussion back and forth with those folks?
I'll pass that on to Mr. City Manager, if you can reply to that.
Go ahead.
This is Bonnie. There hasn't been any clarification. Some of these were just received just the date that we had to publish. So there hasn't been any discussion with them yet.
Thank you. I've sort of read through them. Some of them are fairly simple and straightforward. My question would be, would it make sense to refer this back to committee to incorporate some of those requests or to provide that clarity?
Well, you'd have to make a decision to propose a referral motion then? Yeah. To take into account public feedback? So you'd have to make that motion if that was your desire.
Thank you. But and I would entertain that. I just wanted to check with maybe the city clerk of what challenges that would present.
Councillor Carlson, I think that would be fine, and that would be a good motion to do. We can invite either some of these boards or representatives to come to the next OEG, or city clerks can engage with them. If we want this to be in place for January 1st, there's time to do that.
Thank you. And that's what I was trying to work my way through. We may have just dissolved OEG. So I was wondering if we should refer this back to administration to incorporate some of the feedback.
Councillor Carlson, OEG is in effect until January 1st. We will still be meeting.
I tried. Thank you. Then I would make the referral motion to refer back to OEG to incorporate or provide the clarity to our BCCs.
Okay, so that's a referral motion. Okay, do we need a seconder for that one? Who? Who seconded that motion, the referral motion?
Councillor Higgin.
Who was it? Okay, Councillor Higgin did, the mover. Okay, so we'll deal with the referral motion. Any questions? I see none. Any debate? Okay, none. All in favor? Are any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. It's been referred back to OEG.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I've got a 4-page motion here. City Council appointments to boards, commissions, and committees 2021, 6.1. I think you all know what this motion says, so I won't read it unless you insist. So be it resolved that council direct that the closed meeting discussions and documents with respect to city council appointments to boards, commissions, and committees remain confidential pursuant to sections 1, harmful to personal privacy, 19, confidential evaluations, 23, local public body confidences, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And further be it resolved that council adopt the nominating committee recommendations and appoint the following members of council to the following internal and external boards, commissions and committees, and standing policy committees for a term effective January the 1st, 2021 to the 2021 organizational meeting of council. So there's a listing of council members and the committees. As provided. And that motion comes from Councillor Coffman. Councillor Coffman, did you want to say anything?
Question?
Called the question. Okay. All in favor? Are any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Carlson here. This has not been added to the public agenda as of yet. It will be. Or maybe I just need to reload my...
Speak into the mic. Yeah, I can't hear.
Councillor Carlson, the motion will be made public and it will be in the minutes.
Okay.
The one that we just passed.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I have a resolution from Councillor Morrow. Citizen member appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. 6.2. Be it resolved that council direct that the closed meeting discussions and documents with respect to citizen member appointments to boards, commissions, and committees remain confidential pursuant to sections 1, harmful to personal privacy, 19, confidential evaluations, 23, local public body confidences, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And further be it resolved that council appoint the following citizen members on City Council's boards, commissions, and committees as noted for terms effective January the 1, 2021. And the list of appointees is provided for your perusal. Councillor Morrow?
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor? Are any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Councillor Carlson?
Thank you, Mayor Spearman. I think it's kind of necessary to thank all the folks that have put their service forward on boards, commissions, and committees. That list is up there. I think those folks have done a great deal of work for our community. I'd like to ensure they do get proper thanks by council. I'd also really like to thank the members of our community who overwhelmingly came out. I think this was the highest turnout of folks expressing their interest in sitting on our boards, commissions, and committees. I just want to thank everyone who put their name forward. We had an amazing group of folks from our community wanting to serve their community, our city, and thank you all. We appreciate it, and we hope there are opportunities in the future for all of you to come on board. So thank you.
Hey, thank you, Councillor Parker.
Thank you. Just to add on to that, I want to thank I think the reason why we had so many great people applying for our committees, commissions, and boards is because our city clerk's department did an amazing job in getting the word out there and doing amazing recruitment, advertising campaign and everything. So kudos to our city clerk and her staff for doing an awesome job there.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Coffman?
Sorry, Mayor Spearman, I was actually going to say the same things as Councillor Parker, and not to point out individuals for the risk of overlooking somebody, but definitely to Chloe Crisanti and Ali Moncrief for their work on encouraging more and more participation in this process. So thank you to both of them and to everyone in the clerk's office.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next motion, please. We have a resolution from Councillor Campbell, closed meeting, organizational representative ratifications to boards, commissions, and committees 2021. Be it resolved that Council direct that the closed meeting discussions and documents with respect to citizen member appointments to boards, commissions, and committees remain confidential pursuant to Sections 1, harmful to personal privacy, 19, confidential evaluations, 23, local public body confidences, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. And further be it resolved that Council ratify the following organizational representative members on boards, Council's boards, commissions, and committees, BCCs, commencing January 1, 2021 as follows. Alison Baptista, Holy Spirit Catholic Schools representative on the Youth Advisory Council for a 2-year term expiring on December 31st, 2022. Marcia Blackwater, Lethbridge College representative on the Reconciliation Lethbridge Advisory Committee for a 2-year term expiring on December 31st, 2022. Suzanne Lint, Allied Arts Council of Lethbridge representative on the Performing Arts Steering Committee for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st, 2023. Tara Gillanders, Allied Arts Council of Lethbridge, representative on the Heart of Our City Committee for a 3-year term expiring on December 31st, 2023. And further be it resolved that Dawn Leidy be thanked for her service. Councillor Campbell?
Call the question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Now I have a resolution from Acting Mayor Higgin. Closed meeting board, commission, and committee matter. Be it resolved that Council direct that the closed meeting discussions and documents with respect to boards, commissions, and committees matters remain confidential pursuant to Section 17, harmful to personal privacy, 19, confidential evaluations, and 24, advice from officials of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Acting Mayor Higgin?
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn? By Councillor Campbell, seconded by Councillor Carlson. All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Okay, do we have any further in camera? So we have a in-camera meeting at 12:30, which it's now 12:41. Oh, it's 11:41. Oh, I was racing to get to this one. Okay. All right then. So it looks like you've got